Michael Bay, did you let me down? You have to watch this review to find out. "13 Hours" is directed by Michael Bay, and it's a true story about these soldiers in 2012 on the 11th anniversary of 9/11, and shit goes down in Benghazi, and there's more stuff to it, but I'm not going to say what, just in case you guys don't know. I was so scared walking into this movie because the marketing and the trailers were really good. The trailers for Michael Bay films are generally really good, but then you end up watching the film and you're like, this is pretty bad. And I was really curious about 13 Hours. It looked more mature than most of Michael Bay's films, and I hated his last film, Transformers: Age of Extinction, so I was hoping that this could be a decent Michael Bay film. And how was it? Well, it was decent. I actually liked the film. It honored the soldiers very well, and the film was mature. It wasn't over the top. Was there some humor in it? Yes, but it wasn't like your typical Michael Bay humor. It was kind of more like, I don't know, like humor you would see in most war films where it's like, oh, the soldiers are bickering back and forth and stuff. It's like that. But the story was very intense and gripping. I know there are a lot of people who've been complaining about the first half of the film. I didn't hate the first half, but the second half was much better than the first half for sure. And I gotta tell you that the last 20 minutes of this movie are intense as hell. I had no clue what was gonna happen. I was glued to the screen. I was into the movie for the entire thing, but I was more into the second half than the first one. The first half was more talking, and the second half was more action, but I was fine with the talking because the dialogue wasn't really shitty. It wasn't great dialogue by any means, but it wasn't like terrible Michael Bay dialogue like you see in most of his films. It was mature, like I said. I'm going to keep using that word because this movie is more mature than Michael Bay's previous works, and this is the kind of film that I think Michael Bay should really stick to. Even though Pain and Gain wasn't that great, it was more toned down than the Transformers film. But how was the action? The action was very good. I will say it looked very realistic. Were there explosions? Of course there were, but it made sense because I'm sure stuff like this actually happened during this whole battle in Benghazi. The acting was decent for the most part. There wasn't any amazing performances really except for one, and that's John Krasinski. I love that man so much. I think that man is very talented. I have yet to watch The Office in its entirety, but I love watching him as Jim on that show. This is not Jim. This is the character that he's playing, John Krasinski. I forgot the name of the character, but he was magnificent here. He was fabulous. During the end of the movie, there's a scene involving him breaking down. It was great. He was great. Everyone else did a good job too. The guy that played the chief, Gale from Breaking Bad. Oh my god, I hate him so much. Not the performance. His performance was good, but it's just the character. The decisions that he made just pissed me off. Like, I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Are you trying to get people killed? Like, do your job. What are my negatives? The film is really long. It could have been cut down a few minutes. Like it clocks in almost 2.5 hours, which is generally how long all of Michael Bay's films are. All Michael Bay films are more than 2 hours, and this one should have been cut down just a bit. But I understand the runtime. It wasn't slow paced or anything, but it wasn't like rapid fire quick until it got to the second half of the film. But overall, 13 Hours was a big surprise. It's definitely one of the biggest surprises in a long time. Is the film great? No. Is it terrible? No. It's a fine film that I think that if you're curious to see if Michael Bay could do anything like this, check this film out and you'll see. So I'm going to give 13 Hours a solid B. Guys, tell me down below what you thought of this movie. If you saw it, what's your favorite Michael Bay film? I think this might be the best one he's ever done, but personally, I love the first Transformers. I think it's a very fun movie. I don't think it's great, but I enjoy watching it, and it's my personal favorite one. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I'll see you guys soon.